What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don 20 Teflon, and I'm back at you another one, and this is my frame-by-frame analysis of the new Game of Thrones trailer.
Enemies to the east.
So we see Cersei Lannister walking from one room into another, and it's hard to tell what this room is until we see the next shot, and if we look in the corners we can see that it is blue on the floor. So this leads me to believe that this is the map room that we see later on in this show, that are walking into the map room, and the fact that she is talking about enemies around her means that I do believe that something bad has already happened to House Lannister, and we are shown Grey Worm and the Unsullied Army, and we are shown three different battles in this trailer, people. 3. And the reason why they show Grey Worm and the Unsullied Army is because it's Grey Worm and the Unsullied Army that do the damage to the House Lannister personally at this particular time. So then we see that from a later clip when we see what looks like to be the Unsullied Army invading Casterly Rock. But we'll talk about that when we get to that point.
Enemies to the west. Enemies to the south.
Got enemies, got a lot of enemies. Now the first enemies she shows are the Greyjoys, but I don't think this is a picture of Theon or Yara's ship. I do believe that this is most likely a picture of Euron Greyjoy's ship, and because she took this loss is the reason why she was going to be willing to take the help of Euron Greyjoy. I think Jaime Lannister would try to talk her out of it, but I do believe that that is what's going to happen. Next, she says she has enemies in the south, and it shows the Vale of Arryn. Now, I don't know how the Vale of Arryn is south of her from any position that she is on the map, but that is what it says. This means one thing, that Littlefinger is no longer playing both sides, that he is definitely known as an enemy of the crown at this particular time.
Enemies to the north.
Now, I've tried to make out who this is sharpening the sword many and many a times in my head. I've watched this over and over, but I cannot. Only thing we can go on here, people, is the sleeve. We can look at the sleeve and see it's a little bit baggy, but I don't know who this person is. So if you know who this person is sharpening the sword, please let me know in the comment section. Next, we see a picture of the map, and it leads right to where all the real problems are, the wall. And the funny thing is, if you look at the fire in this fireplace and you freeze it right at the right time, well, maybe I'm just crazy, but it looks like the shapes of dragons, I should say. Watch, I'll show you. You tell me if you think I'm bugging or not. Now we get a picture of Arya being watched, and who is watching her or what is watching her is what is up for debate here. Now, it seems that it's quite possibly someone watching through a glass, and then we have this little orange tin, like maybe they're holding up a lantern or something like that. Or this could be an eyeball of a direwolf, maybe Nymeria, looking at her through the woods, and that is why we see it's kind of rounded on the right-hand side. And maybe that's the color of her wolf's eye, I'm not sure. Who knows, but that's what it seems like to me. It's one or the other.
Whatever stands in our way, we will defeat it. We're the last Lannisters. The last ones who count.
So we start off with Cersei in her map room in King's Landing. I do believe this has to be painted on the floor. It looks very nice, of all of Westeros. And it seems that at this particular time she is trying to get Jaime Lannister on board. And this is what really makes me believe that Casterly Rock has been taken down and all the other Lannisters have been killed. And when they show this picture of Cersei, it's where she's actually is giving this speech, and we could tell that it's a whole different scene because she's sitting down and she's wearing different clothing than the actual scene that we seen in the beginning of the trailer of her walking up to the mat room. So she has this talk, which I'm going to assume is Jaime Lannister, before all that happens, and then she goes into all this defensive mode and getting all these maps and turning into a warrior queen. The fact that she says that we are the last Lannisters makes me 100% believe that Casterly Rock has been sacked. A lot of Lannister people have been killed by the Unsullied and killed by Daenerys Targaryen. Now we see her in the throne room with the Lannister lion above her. Looks great. But this is right now, they are meeting someone. They are waiting for a meeting. You can see in the faces of them, especially when you look at the way Jaime Lannister is looking down the hall. It's looking like they are about to greet somebody. And then when you see Cersei Lannister in the next scene, as she looks like she's on the throne, but she doesn't want to be there at this particular time, by the way she's moving her fingers, this makes me think this is a meeting that she doesn't want to have. So what could this meeting be? Well, if Casterly Rock was overthrown, that means they would have no more money. So they could be meeting with the Iron Bank of Bravos at this particular time, trying to get a loan for them so they can continue this war or their efforts. Because as you can see, she has upgraded a lot of the costumes, so she has spent a lot of money with all these enemies to her. She's going to need some help, so the Iron Bank of Bravos could be what she's meeting with at this particular time.
I was born to rule the Seven Kingdoms. And I will.
So we see Dany make it to her homeland, a Dragonstone. They have already taken it. That's why they open the doors for her. And then we see her touching the ground that her ancestors walked on. It's probably a great feeling for her. And then we see her in her big throne, and her saying that she was born to rule the Seven Kingdoms. Well, the Targaryens weren't born to rule the Seven Kingdoms. They took the Seven Kingdoms. So no one was born to do anything. They have to take it. And that's the only way she's going to get it, if she takes it. And I do not think that she will get it whatsoever. I think that she will sit on this throne only. I do not think that her butt will come into contact with the Iron Throne whatsoever. Now this is what looks like to be the sack of King's Landing. Dany dividing up her forces from Unsullied and Dothraki and having the Unsullied sack King's Landing. We can see the people on the floor definitely look like Lannister troops. We've seen the symbolism around. Looks like it's definitely the place of Casterly Rock. So this is why I think forces Cersei's hand to get the map put on the floor and to start looking into taking other efforts and possibly dealing with the Iron Bank and dealing with Euron Greyjoy.
The King in the North! Your father and brothers are gone, yet here you stand. Last best hope against the coming storm.
We see Jon Snow and his people, the King of the North, and I think this is how the next season will start. And it seems that Jon is trying to convince them of something, maybe some type of mission, because the next scene we see is the wall going up. So maybe a mission beyond the wall. He's trying to gather troops to see who will go with him. Then we see Peter Baelish trying to put the bug in Sansa's ear, saying that she is the last hope for this. Why would she say that she is the last hope for the people in the North? Why? He's just trying to get her on his side. Now somehow Melisandre has made it all the way to Dragonstone. I'm sure it's very emotional for her. This is where she was with Stannis Baratheon. The thing we have to ask ourselves is, does Dany know she's here? Is she working with Dany, or is she just out here rogue on her own? Because this is the last spot that she probably calls home. And we see her looking down at people, and it looks like she's looking down at Jon Snow and Davos, and them have come to treat with Dany. This has all got to do with the same mission that I talked about earlier. That is why they are there. First, Jon was talking to the people in the North. Now he's probably over here trying to gather troops from her. I'm sure he will try to gather troops from everybody in this situation. And then we finally end this shot real quick with Theon Greyjoy, and it looks like a burning ship. Looks like he's on the ship, and it looks like the ships are burning up behind him. This will probably be the first battle that we see, or this will probably be a battle that we see that, that Cersei finally wins. I think it's going to open up with her losing the Casterly Rock, and then she will win this battle at sea, and then after this battle at sea, we will see the final battle that we have been shown in this trailer.
If we don't put aside our enmities and band together, we will die. And then it doesn't matter whose skeleton sits on the Iron Throne.
Well, it looks like Jon Snow's mission beyond the wall is not going very well. As we can see, the people that he has gathered up with him to go beyond the wall, and some type of SEAL Team 6 situation that they think they're doing, or whatever some special tactic units is, that they have been rounded up, and now they are all back to back to back, and we could barely see them. This is blizzard whiteout conditions. That means they are being pursued by the whites, and the Night's King is probably en route to get that ass. So this is what it seems like the mission for Jon Snow is. We also see Arya Stark in a very snowy situation. Now, the first part we seen Arya Stark, there was really no type of snow there. Now we see a bunch of snow. Speaking of snow, do you remember that Dragonstone? There wasn't a drop of snow on Dragonstone for some reason, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah, we see Arya Stark here, and it looks like Arya Stark is being stalked by someone. Now, maybe you see the breath come out of her mouth. Maybe that is to say that the White Walkers are upon her. I think that quite possibly Arya Stark gets reunited with Jon Snow back at Winterfell and everyone else. She wants to come along for the battle, but Jon treats her like a little sister and doesn't let her go. So she sneaks off behind him, and then she finds herself in this bit of trouble with the White Walkers, and quite possibly Nymeria to the rescue. Then we got the reason why Robert Baratheon said never fight the Dothraki in open field. And you can see exactly what's going to happen to these troops. Now, I think that this is a second battle between the Dothraki army and the Lannisters with the Tarleys at this particular time. I think that is definitely what's going on here. We see the first battle with the Greyjoys, which I believe is Euron, fighting against the Dornish people and Theon Greyjoy and Yara at the ship battle. And I think they will be defeated, and I think they will be taken captive by Euron. Now we see here, so Davos making his plea to people other than Jon Snow about the White Walkers, and it seems like no one is taking this as a serious threat. That's what it seems like is going on here, people, that no one is actually believing that the White Walkers actually exist. And then we see the Mountain in his new armor. As I said, Cersei has upgraded everybody's armor. I do not like this armor. It makes him look very skinny. Doesn't make him look as imposing. Maybe it's just a shot, but we'll see when the season goes on. He looks very stiff. Looks kind of like Stretch Armstrong. Now we see two underground scenes. One is easy to make out and the other one is not. Now the first one that is hard to make out, it's hard because it's very dark. We can't really see who these people are. But I'm going to make a guess. I'm going to say that the person holding the flame that we can see could be Jon Snow holding the flame. And if we look at the second image of this picture that I'm showing you, we can see some type of blondish hair. I think that's Brienne of Tarth. Now this could be Sansa and Brienne without Jon or with Jon trying to escape Winterfell, maybe through the crypts or through something else. I don't know. I'm guaranteeing that that's Brienne. It's quite possible, now looking at the person with the torch, that it could be a woman holding the torch. Because when we see the final shot from it right here, if we look over to the right, to me that looks like a Greyjoy shield right here. And if that is a Greyjoy shield, I don't know why a Greyjoy shield would be down there. It could be some underground river type situation that they're escaping out of there. But that's my take from it, people. I think it's Brienne of Tarth with someone escaping a situation under the ground. Something's happening above the ground, but that also does really look like a Greyjoy shield to me. We get the second underground scene, and it's Jon Snow, the one that's easy to make out. It's Jon Snow and Peter Baelish in the crypts of Winterfell. And I think what's going on here is that Peter Baelish has said something about Jon's parentage to him, and it's choking him out the same exact way Ned Stark choked him out that we've seen in season 1. Same thing that Jon Snow is doing to him right here. I think he said something to him about his parentage, saying that Ned Stark is not his father, or saying something like that got Jon to snap and to grab him up and start choking choking him out. But I think that is exactly what is going on here. The next scene we see is of Arya Stark peeking under the bed. Now, she could have made it home to Winterfell, or she could be at an inn. But she's looking under the bed, which shows me that she is in some type of fear still of the Faceless Men. And she probably will have this fear of the Faceless Men coming to get her for the rest of her life, for as long as it lasts. So that's what it shows to me here, that she's either sneaking around and she is looking for something. Now the next scene we have is of the hand coming out here. Now this hand, people say, has grayscale on it. I can look and see that it's why they would think it, and it does look like grayscale hand. But it also looks like a burnt hand. So I don't know if this is Sir Jorah's hand. He's the only person we've seen with grayscale, and we've seen it on his hand mostly. So quite possible he has gotten this bad, and this is his hand that we're seeing here. Or skin has been burnt as some type of Victorian Greyjoy method of trying to cure it. It could be a grayscale hand like that. I don't know if it's someone that they just captured that just turned into a white, and they have him captured in this spot, and this is what they're doing to him. I don't know if this is someone in the Boat of the Silence that Euron Greyjoy has captured and has in there. Could be many different things, people. But if you have to put your money on something, I would definitely put the hand on Sir Jorah, since he is the one that we know for fact has grayscale. So we see Jon Snow's plan here is not working. Whatever they were going on beyond the wall to do has not been effective, obviously, because they are all retreating, and retreating very as fast as they can in those big ass clothes that they wear. You know, Jon Snow is strapped to the hilt. We see Tormund here. It's definitely a situation that, you know, we got a lot of plot leak stuff earlier, people. And I'm not going to go directly into everything that was said in the plot leaks at all, because I know a lot of people did not want to know anything about the plot leaks. But I will say that it seems very accurate, the plot leaks, from all the things that we have seen so far. We also see Missandei and Grey Worm about to get it on. And listen, I'm very happy for them. I wish I was in his position. And I hope he does the job. I'm sure he could do the job as good as he can. As I said, I roommate with a dude that was in a wheelchair. He had no problem getting women. So I'm going to say that Grey Worm's going to have no problem satisfying this one. Next, we see Yara Greyjoy and Oberyn Martell's old thought hooking up here. And I think this is their last makeout session, because I think they are captured by Euron Greyjoy. And they will be taken to Cersei Lannister, where they will be executed at King's Landing. And that is exactly how they will go out. I can't see it being any other way. But I think this is just their last kiss before it's good night for the both of them. We see here what looks like most likely Tyrion's hand, and he is knocking over Casterly Rock. And I think that this is going to be the first battle that we see between Dany's forces and the forces of Westeros. Like, that the first thing they're going to do is take Casterly Rock. I do believe that when I look at the shoulder length to the hand length, the frame, the size that is, that this is definitely Tyrion. We see someone saving somebody's life on water. Has to be from the battle earlier, and I'm going to say that this is Theon getting pushed overboard, or pushing somebody overboard in the nick of time before the flames got to him and whoever they could save. Maybe this is what happens, and maybe this is the reason why people hate on Theon afterwards. They think that maybe he's a coward and he fled. But it looked like in the other picture that he was freezing up in the heat of battle, that he was standing there just staring in awe. So it's quite possible that the man did freeze up on everything. Last shot we're talking about here is an open field battle. As we can see here, there's not a drop of snow on the floor, so it's very ideal conditions for the Dothraki. I think this is probably going to be the final main battle of humans versus humans of this season right here. This will be the field of fire. This will be Cersei Lannister's army with the Tarleys, all going up against Dany's Dothraki and Unsullied army. I think the Unsullied will be in this battle at this particular time, but we don't see them yet. But I think they will probably most likely be in this battle. The trailer was just an epic trailer. I really would like to see more because, as I said before, I am someone who has read the plot leaks, and after dealing with all this, watching this, there's nothing in here that was unexpected that I seen from the plot leaks that the plot leaks didn't say. So hopefully we get some more and it gets a little bit more in depth. So if you like the way I do this, please subscribe, please thumb up this, and please spread this across the realm. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace! And stay sexy. And yes, I know I did say that backwards.